Hi, I'm Colin and welcome to How to Paint Watercolors. So if you're ready, we'll get started and we'll paint this one. Hello and welcome to How to Paint Watercolors with me, Colin. I hope you're going to enjoy this one. This is a river landscape scene in the spring, or late spring going on to summer, so we'll be dealing with summer greens. I thought we'd do this one with a dusky summer sky. There is a paint mixing video that accompanies this, should you wish to have a look at that, and if you want to paint along, use that to help you with it. This is some cadmium yellow light. I'm just going to streak this in the sky here. I don't want to be too heavy-handed with the sky, I do want it to stay reasonably light. Then into that we want some cadmium red light. I've stretched the paper and then I just want some streaks of cadmium red deep in this, to be honest, just to change that up slightly. This will dry out really pale. And also into the other yellow, I'd like some cad yellow deep. Just to add a different flavour to that. Just adds interest to your skies all the time. Here's the Prussian blue and the cobalt blue mixed up, and I want this to be really pale, very pale sky. Careful when you meet the yellow, do not work it in. I also want to bring in some cadmium yellow pale here, just to add a little bit of light. Cadmium yellow deep. And I do want to add some cadmium red deep and Prussian blue, just to add a sort of a mystique effect down here. Is it trees or is it mist? And taking my mop brush, dipping it into that, and then I want to bring some tree shapes into this. Background trees. And we will need some tree trunks going through here and branches, so rig a brush. And then we're going to leave that to dry, and if you don't want it to spread any further, you can just go over it slightly with a hairdryer, but you don't want to dry the paper out. Okay, now that that's dry, I just want to bring a little bit of raw umber into this, into the palette. Nice good dollop into some water, just in case I need to alter some colours. Just a little bit of Indian red. Now I want to take some of the light green that we mixed, bring it in here. And I'm opening up my mop brush. Prussian blue, cad yellow deep. And the secret to this is to spread the brush out. And because it's in the background, I don't want it too heavy. And I think we can put some in the bushes here. I want to add some water along here. So we're going to begin to separate these banks out. And I do want to drop some of the May green in here. Just take it into the bush. Add some shadow along there. Now I'm going to earth that out with some raw umber. separate the banks out. Coming around to my major tree here, and I want it lighter on this side as the light comes through, so remember to keep it coming dark on this side. I know this is still damp and wet, but I want this to fuse a little bit, kind of like that. Try my mop brush out again. And I've just added a little bit of the Indian red to that green, just to earth it down. Just try a little in this bush. And as we come into the dark here, adding some of the raw umber. Leave this to dry. I just want to take some raw umber now that that has dried and just run it up this background tree. Just let it drift into the greens. When I say dry, it's relatively dry. I do like to leave some parts of it damp. It just allows paint to flow in, just to merge. Same on this one. Don't forget, I will leave a link at the end of the video for the paint mixing video for this demonstration, should you wish to paint this. And whilst it's still wet like that, just bring in some of your burnt sienna and French ultramarine mix and just drop it down one side of the tree and just allow it to drift across. Just adds a little extra to this. Bring some branches through the foliage to have something to help support the canopy. Just a few on this one as well. Stick some twigs through the undergrowth here. Moving to the middle brown or the next colour. This is where 3 shades comes in handy. Pull it through that back undergrowth. Allowing it to sit there for a minute. Back to that green we mixed up earlier. Get darker. Just a tiny bit in this tree. I don't want to bring this tree too far forward. Just like a little bit of red in that, some earthy red. That's just a touch of Indian red, soften off the bottom. And sienna, French ultramarine. Into the undergrowth, just to darken it and give it some shadow, some punch, just a little bit into the greenery of the tree. Add this while the paint is still wet and then just allowing it to drift. Just helps to darken it. Lighter touch with this here. I'm just going to begin to bring a bush in here. This is some burnt sienna French ultramarine, but this is to the brown side. Little darker ones here. Once again, I'm just going to let that dry for a little while. Once that is dry, taking some of the darker green that we mixed up, and we're just going to add this into the this bush here. A little bit of extra colour. I'm just re-wetting this bank slightly, bringing back some of the original sky colour. And along here, I'm just going to pop in some cadmium yellow deep, a little bit along here as well. I have got the board set at a slight angle, and I do want to bring some of this darker green from the undergrowth and just bring it over and allow it to drift down. French ultramarine and burnt sienna just along the bottom, and just allow this to drift up along the bottom where the riverbank meets the river. Just adding it where I want this bank to separate into its separate pieces. Just bring some up into the tree trunk. Add a little bit of green into this here on the right hand side of the bank. Adding a bush here. And I'm just mixing on the brush with the French ultramarine and burnt umber, mixed in with the, I've just mixed in the Indian red into a darker mix. Darker green into that as well, allowing it to run on this side. Just helping shape the flow. Just by adding the dark green in. Just want to bring some of the dark in once again, French ultramarine and burnt umber, just along the bottom of this shoreline. Or if you haven't got French ultramarine and burnt umber, French ultramarine and burnt sienna. I think this is the French ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just pull a little bit of this back, just to break up any lines. Add some into the bottom of this bush to create some real dark shadow. And I want to bring some of that, pull it into the centre here and add this dark green to it to really bring it down, bring it really dark green. Just add some to the bank here. Taking a rigger brush and just gently dropping in some sticks and twiggy bushy things here. Adding it to this bush as well. Taking some clean water, just running it along the far bank, the far shore. Taking some of the dark green, really dark, and running that along the bottom. Before we move on, we have to leave that to dry. Now that's all nice and dry, just re-wet the whole of your river area with some clean water, with some of the colours from your sky. This is the blue, cobalt blue, Prussian blue, cad yellow light with a touch of cad yellow deep in places. It doesn't matter if it turns green. Touches of cadmium red. Bring the colours together. All horizontal strokes. cadra deeps here and there, a bit of purple. All the colours of the sky. I just want to drop some of the green in along the bank where the bank is here. Just murky that up with some raw umber. Just the colours you've been using, that's all. Just creating a general reflection, nothing major. Feed a bit of colour in. Ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just along the back shoreline into the river where the reflection is. Need a little bit more raw umber. And I'm just going to sprinkle this in for some foliage, any of the greens, as long as it's just dark, pop that in. Just a little bit in for some of the bushes. Be a little along in here. And then we're going to let that dry. Now that everything's nice and dry, I've just turned the picture on its side. I just want to put some movement into the water with some thin streaks. A craft knife and a ruler. Shoreline at the back by using the same method. And I just want to bring in some dead sticks and twigs that you can find in the undergrowth of any bush. I just want to add one or two highlights, so I'm taking some really thick, right out of the box. This paint is only just wet cadmium yellow light. Just where the light would catch it as it comes through the trees. I just want to add just a little bit, just to the edge, just to help pull your eye through. A little on top here. Trying not to get carried away with this, it's just a highlight. This is May coming into June, and I'm quite happy with that. I'm just making a very dark green, just mixing all the colours. Almost a black green. And just adding some grasses that you always seem to get down by the riverside. I think we could have a couple of birds in the sky here, 3 I think. This is round you get to the good bit. This is where to sign it, put a mat round it and frame it. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please click the like button and subscribe. All subscribers are welcome, and feel free to leave a comment. All comments are welcome, and I will see you next time. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you.